Welcome to yoga. We'll get going in about a minute or so. We're practicing here with my daughter Josephine and my son Samuel, and we'll see you real soon.
Here, I'm doing everything. Great. Good job, guys. Great work. Oh, are we supposed to use these for yoga?
You could if you wanted to.
Do you want to?
I think so. Actually, I feel bad doing that to her because it's like sweaty and gross.
Your buttocks?
Yeah.
I mean, your derriere.
You're on camera now, guys. Just so you know.
That's a non-Facebook sanctioned bizarre. So, they can't hear us if we're whispering.
Let's see. Jojo, why don't you move a little bit more towards the windows? And Sammy, move a little bit. Why don't you come up just a tad? And why don't you go back? Nice. All right. Hello. Well, welcome everyone to 5 p.m. Yoga with the Bay Club. My name is Mark Cormier. I'm practicing here with my daughter, Josephine, and my son, Samuel. We'll be here till 50-minute class till 5:50. And any comments that you'd like to make, there's a comment feature on Facebook Live. Feel free to comment as to the sound quality, the video quality, whatever helps us make this a better production for you. So, I suggest we start at the top of our mats, finding our feet. From our feet, finding our legs. From our legs, finding our spine. Relax shoulders long through all sides of the neck. A slight tuck of the chin as we start to take our attention inward. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart, a light press of the palms, a light press of the thumb against the sternum as we line up each finger. I'll invite you to relax your shoulders. And we can start our practice just by watching our breath as it flows in and as it flows out, arriving here on our yoga mats ready for an afternoon yoga practice. Awesome. We're in this place of just watching your breath. I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation, matched by a long, slow exhalation. Long, smooth breaths in. Long, smooth breaths out. To this deeper, fuller breath, I'll invite you to move towards the Ujjayi or ocean breath, a slight constriction of the base of your throat, to add a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this evening, letting the sound and feel of your Ujjayi breath be a focus for your practice. Always coming back to that sound and feel, often compared to the sounds of the waves of the ocean as the waves wash in and as the waves wash out. To this deeper, fuller breath, this is Ujjayi breath rather, I'm going to invite you to add on Jiva Bandha, tip of the tongue to the hard palate, just behind the teeth. Trying to keep that connection throughout the practice. Keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of your body. Finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face. Opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, if you closed your eyes, opening your eyes, hands by our side. Warming up our shoulders as we inhale, the arms up overhead. Exhaling, arms down. 2 more times like this. Breathing, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling arms down. Adding a forward fold, half sun salutation. Inhaling up. On the exhale, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to find length as you lift chin and tail. On the exhale, folding and rounding the spine. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, righting the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. 1 more to go. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, righting the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Surya Namaskar with or without vinyasa. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then on the exhale, grounding down through the hands, either finding your down dog and holding, or cycling through Chaturanga, the yoga push-up. Inhaling into up dog or cobra. And then exhaling back to down dog and holding for 4 or 5 breaths. As we hold down dog, I'll allow you to bring your attention to your hands. Lots of space between each finger. A particular emphasis between the thumb and the forefinger as we draw the energy up from the floor. Shoulders engaged, either letting your neck relax and your head be super, super heavy, or lengthening through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, righting the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Second one just like the first. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Always finding that balance between your effort and your ease. Wherever you choose to work, breathing, watching that breath, and enjoying that reflection upon your breath. One more long, smooth breath here. Tail into that exhalation, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more Surya Namaskar. We'll add on if you choose. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. God bless you. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Feeling free to hold your down dog or generating more tapas or heat. I'll go sideways for the demo here. We can inhale forward to plank pose. And then on the exhale, drawing it back. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, drawing it back. This next one will hold. Inhaling forward. Exhaling and holding. Inhaling and holding. Exhaling and holding. One more half breath, breath in. And then breath out, drawing it back and holding for another breath or so. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. So Namaskar B. Inhaling into a chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. Also just a half back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. I'll go sideways for the demo and I'll demo the first side here.
Flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky for the three-legged dog. High on the left toes. And then looking between the hands, bringing that right foot on through, spinning the back heel down, finding your balance. Hands can always find the hips. And then up and over the head for warrior one. And then on the exhale, spinning the palms out, finding low lunge as you spin back heel up, and then back to down dog as you will. Take your time, find your flow, whatever that means. Always feeling free to stay wherever you are. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Flow style, second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Looking between the hands and then sweeping that left foot on through. Landing it lightly as we spin the back heel down, finding your balance, arms up and over the head. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. As we hold this down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath flows in, and as your Ujjayi breath flows out. From down dog, long smooth breath in, long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or take a jump. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. On the inhale, we'll come back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. Let's do one more Surya Namaskar B. We'll add on hip opener into the mix. We'll start with our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out back to down dog as you will. Take your time. Find your flow. Again, I'll go sideways and to demo the shape. And I'll demo this first side. Flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky for the three-legged dog. High on the left toes. Without overly disturbing the shoulders, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that right hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing your right foot on through, spinning the back heel down, arms up and over the head for our warrior one. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. And again, take your time, find your flow. Always feeling free to stay wherever you are. From down dog, second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Without overly disturbing the shoulders, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing that left foot on through. Spinning the back heel down, arms up and over the head for warrior one. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. And again, take your time. Find your flow. Whether you're in down dog or child's pose, two great places to breathe into back lungs, finding more space, more freedom in our spines. Also connecting with a part of our body not easily visible as we start to connect with everything in the universe that's not easily visible. Wherever you are, feeling free to stay there. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. On the inhale, back to our chair pose. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, a little back bend at the top, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart, either keeping a light press of the palms as your weight collects in your feet, or adding an isometric engagement as we press the palms together, elbows wide, shoulders engaged,
I'll invite you to add a little tuck of the chin and a tuck of the tail as we find the strength of our center. And then hands by our side. From here, let's step or jump our feet hip width apart. An exercise with breath and movement here. On the inhale, we bring arms out to the side. On the exhale, bending the knees as we cross the arms in front. Inhaling, and now switching across. And let's do 6. Halfway down. Couple more each way. One more each side. And then back up. And hands by our side. From here, let's bring hands on hips as we shift weight onto the right foot. Moving towards a tree pose here as we bring either foot onto ankle, toes stay on the floor, so you can see the heel finds that little ankle knob. Or we bring our foot onto our calf. And then the third option would be to bring the foot onto the thigh. From here, we can keep hands on hips as we balance. We can maybe find hands to heart. From here, maybe stretching those hands high to the sky, either looking down to the ground, off to the horizon, or up to the sky. High hands, if they went high, can come back to the hips. We can swing this left thigh forward. We can lift the thigh higher as we point the toe down and lean a little bit forward. From here, let's practice 3 kicks. 1, 2, 3, and then kick and hold. Breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. Lifting that leg higher, and then I'll invite you to sweep it on back as we ground it on down for Warrior 1 prep. You want to go sideways here. In Warrior 1 prep, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your shoulders as we relax the shoulders and square the heart front. From here, I'll invite you to find a clasp with the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat. And then I'll invite you to stretch those hands high to the sky. From here, straightening the front leg without locking the knee. I'll invite you to gather up the energy, inhaling. On the exhale, offering it out. A couple more times, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Halfway done, breathing in, breathing out. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. Last one here, breathing out and holding as we take a big breath into our heart. Elbows move back, the hands come with, and I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers as we keep our hands supple. From here, let's turn Warrior 1 into Warrior 2. As the hands find the heart, we can open up the hips to face side wall. We might kick the back foot in just a tad, so we have heel to arch alignment. And we might go a little bit longer in our stance as we find one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. From here, let's paint rainbows. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. 2 more to go. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Breathing in, breathing out. Finding your Warrior 2. And then I'll invite you to bring thumb and forefinger to crease of hip. Thumb and forefinger to base of rib. Deepening that crease, lengthening those ribs, the I'm a little teacup transition. As we move towards our triangle pose, grounding bottom hand down in an appropriate place. We can set that top shoulder. We can stretch that hand high to the sky, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky, with a steady yet relaxed gaze. With every breath in, I'll invite you to find your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. With every breath out, sending energy out through both arms, both legs, both ends of the spine, as you make yourselves bigger in space from the inside out. Now I'll invite you to explore that lateral top line here.
In our triangle pose, on the exhale, turning heart to the floor as that hand faces front. On the inhale, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky. And let's do this a few times. Exhaling. And exhaling. And inhaling. Halfway down. Exhale. And inhale. Last two. Exhale. And inhale. Last one. Exhale. Now the bottom hand joins. We take that twist out of the torso. We breathe 2 hands up. And exhale it over. 2 hands up. Exhale it over. 2 hands up. Exhale it over. Halfway down, breathing it up. Exhale it over. Breathing it up. Exhale it over. Last one. Inhale it up. Exhale it over and hold as we reach, reach, reach. We'll invite you to wiggle those fingers. And let's bring hands to hips as we soften the front knee and take a big step in, big angle on the back foot, turning and facing that straight leg as we square the hips front. And we'll move towards Parsvottanasana or pyramid pose. Let's inhale, arms out to the side, the palms face down. And then leading with the heart as we swan dive over that front leg. Hands find the floor, maybe hands find the shin. Take a breath to find length. And then folding and holding as we relax the neck and heavy the head. Any amount, yeah. As we hold Parsvottanasana or pyramid pose, inviting more prana, more life force into our hips. Any amount. I'll invite you to rock your hips from side to side. So we're moving between warrior 1 hips and warrior 2 hips here. Now I'll invite you to move towards the revolved triangle. As we ground left hand down, feel free to bend the knee to do that. We bring right hand to the back of the sacrum, the palm faces up. We turn our heart towards that straight front leg. We can set the shoulder. We can stretch hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky. Nice. Very difficult pose. We're twisted and we're balancing. Still finding a deep full breath in and a deep full breath out. From our revolved triangle, coming out easily as we frame front foot with both hands. Feel free to bend that knee a bunch. Stepping the back foot back, finding your low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. And again, take your time. Find your form. As we connect breath to movement, we start to connect our mind to our bodies. Not that they're ever separated, but just being conscious of that connection. And in finding that connection, we start to connect to everything else around us. The wind, the breeze, the ground, the sky, all of it. From our down dog shape, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding. On the inhale, we'll come back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top, open 4th and 5th chakra, heart and throat, community and communication, and then hands by our side. I'll invite you to bring hands to heart. Again, either keeping a light press of the palms as your weight collects in your feet, or adding that isometric engagement as we find the strength in our center. And then hands by our side. So another exercise with breath and movement as we either step or maybe jump our feet here apart. On the inhale, we bring hands to one side. On the exhale, bending the knees as we bring the hands to center. On the inhale, finding the other side. And we'll do 6 of these. Halfway done. Last 2 each way. 1 more each side. And then back up. And hands by our side. Preparing for our tree pose, second side, as we shift weight under our left foot. I forgot to mention this on the first side. If you want to angle that foot out just a little bit, I find it gives my hip a little more room to breathe, metaphorically. As we shift weight onto that left foot, we can find either our kickstand tree, toes stay on the floor, heel finds that ankle knob. We can find the calf. You can always come back to the calf. If you want to reach down to catch the foot, we can bring the foot onto the thigh. We can find hip hands and we can stay hip hands. Hip hands might become hard hands. Hard hands might become high hands. And then playing with your gaze, either looking down, off to the horizon, or up to the sky. If hands became high hands, they can come back and become hip hands. We can swing this thigh front. We can release and point the toe down. We can lean a little bit forward. And I'll suggest 3 kicks for 1, 2, 3. And then kick and hold. Breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. Lifting that leg a little higher. And then we can sweep it on through as we find our Warrior One prep. From Warrior One prep, we can bring hands onto our shoulders, just relaxing and squaring our heart front. From here, finding a clasp of the fingers. You might walk the fingers one over to find that opposite clasp of the fingers. And then pressing head into the hands, open heart, open throat. And then stretching those hands high to the sky. And then with the breath, inhaling as we gather up the energy. On the exhale, as we offer it out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. 3 more to go. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling and exhaling. Last one, breathing in. Breathing out and holding. As the elbows move back, the hands come with it. I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers. And then turning Warrior One into Warrior Two as hands find the heart. We open up the hips. We can kick the back foot in for heel to arch alignment. You might go a little longer in the stance. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers. Steady yet relaxed gaze. From here, painting rainbows. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling, halfway down, breathing in. Breathing out, last 2, breathing in. Breathing out, last 1, breathing in. Breathing out, Warrior 2. And from here, transitioning to Trikonasana, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. I'm a little teacup, short and stout. Grounding bottom hand down, setting top shoulder, stretching hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky with that steady yet relaxed gaze. With every breath in, finding your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. With every breath out, from that central place, sending the energy out into the universe. And always deep, full breaths in. Deep, full breaths out. From our triangle pose, let's explore that lateral top line. As we exhale that hand front, turning our heart to the floor. Inhaling, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky. A few more times, exhaling. And inhaling. Exhaling. And inhaling. Halfway down. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Last one, we'll hold. Exhale and hold. The bottom hand joins. We take that twist out of the torso, pure side motion. We breathe it up and exhale it over. Breathing it up. Exhale it over. Inhale up. Exhale over. Let's do a couple more. Breathing it up. Exhale it over. Inhale it up. Exhale it over and hold as we reach. I'll invite you to wiggle those fingers. And then moving towards pyramid or Parsvottanasana as we bring hands to the hips. We can shift weight onto the front foot as we take a big step in. And that back foot's going to be about 60 degrees. Turning and facing that front leg, so warrior one hips, arms out to the side, the palms face down, and we can take that swan dive over that front leg. Grounding either down on ground, you can bend the knee a bunch, or maybe you find the shin. Relax neck, heavy head, as the shoulders draw up and back towards the hips. As we hold the stretch, pushing solidly into that front foot as you draw that hip back. And then adding a little swing, a little sway as we swivel the hips side and swivel the hips front. And I'll let you do that yourself, say 5 or 6 times. Just inviting more prana, more life force into those hips. Juicing up the synovial fluid, the lubricant that keeps all our joints healthy.